Well, it appears that Israel is engaging in its third favorite thing to do besides committing piracy in international waters and murdering Palestinian children and women, is committing airstrikes and just murdering journalists. Because, again, it should be fairly obvious why Israel does not want any journalists within the, well, Gaza Strip within Palestine. So then they can't fucking film their fucking atrocities. I guess Israel has finally decided to learn the fucking lesson of their stupid, dumb fuck soldiers deciding to do like little TikToks of them like gallivanting about doing their stupid little fucking dances with like a women's underwear on their fucking heads for fuck's sake. So, that's pretty cool. So, an Israeli airstrike kills a prominent Al Jazeera journalist and colleagues in Gaza. I forget what his name is. It's Anas Al-Sharif. Or Al-Sharif? I'm going to say Al-Sharif. Is the Al Jazeera journalist who got, well, killed by Israel. But what do we got here? Journalists cried out in disbelief Sunday night as they stepped into a press tent in Gaza City that had been hit in an Israeli airstrike targeting the territory's most prominent and well-recognized journalist, Anas al-Sharif. Quick reminder, let's not forget ever why the reasoning that Israel is doing this. It should be fairly fucking obvious. They want as little information to get out to the broader Western world, because guess what? Israel's popularity is kind of in the shitter, and they're broadly seen as a pariah state on the world stage. Nobody fucking likes them, except for like the U.S. establishment. They're the only people who fucking likes them, and I guess like security contractors and like military industrial complex bullshit. Because again, they use Palestinians as a way to test, well, as human guinea pigs to test new security measures. In all, 6 Palestinian journalists were killed in that attack. 5 of them reporting for Al-Jazeera: Anas al-Sharif, Mohammed Kraika? I don't know how to say this. Ibrahim al-Tahar? Mohammed Nofal, and freelance reporter Mohammed al-Kaldi. Kaldi? Sure. The attacks on journalists and Al-Sharif in particular was roundly condemned by groups representing journalists, even as Israel's Arabic military spokesperson shared what he said was proof the correspondent was a Hamas cell commander, an allegation first levied last year. Oh, that's the really? I saw like an El Yacobi fucking goddamn tweet saying like, no one is going to mention about how this guy got paid by Hamas. He got money from Hamas in order to put out propaganda that's pro Hamas or something. It's just like, it's so fucking stupid. I don't think I've gotten any YouTube ads about how the famine is Hamas propaganda. I think that might be a U.S. explicit thing, exclusive thing rather. Also, like, let's take a quick look. How many journalists killed in Gaza? Thank you. Well, this is the next thing that we're going to look specifically from fucking Al Jazeera. So nearly 270 journalists and media workers have been killed in Israeli attacks over 22 months of war. Woof! That's about, like, 10 a month. 10 a month? Or about 13 journalists every month. That's a lot of fucking journalists that are getting killed. That's about, what, half a journalist every single day, let's say? Yeah, sure, half a journalist every single day. Because, again, we know why this is fucking going on. The Israelis want to do this simply due to the fact that, whoa, they just want to fucking make sure that no information about what they're doing in Gaza gets out. That's the point of this. The Committee to Protect Journalists called Israel's allegations against Al-Sharif, which he rebutted before his killing, unsubstantiated. After the attack, the group said Israel was murdering the messengers. Yeah, like, quite literally, there was a fucking dude who came into YouTube chat saying, like, you're not going to address how this guy was a Hamas terrorist? I'm just like, okay, proof. Give me proof. Do you have any proof? Doesn't present any proof. Get fucking banned, idiot. Like, so fucking stupid. A video recorded on a journalist's phone shows the immediate aftermath of the attack, with the 20-year-old Sharif's lifeless and bloody body lying on the ground next to the main bodies of his colleagues. He'd be wearing a blue press vest that journalists don in war zones. Unfortunately, Israel doesn't really give much of a fuck about that vest, and will still fucking assassinate you even if you're wearing that vest. Al-Sharif always wore the vest. He was a target, one of 6 Al Jazeera journalists named in a list 10 months ago by Israel. Really? Israel fucking had a target list on this fucking man. So fucking goofy. Which accused them of having ties with militant groups. Some of that list were later assassinated, like journalist Hassam Shabbat, or severely wounded. Yeah, honestly, with Israel, like the snipers see press vest, they're just like, well, that's a target. But Al-Sharif, a father of 2 young children, never wavered and never left the north of the territory despite displacement orders, heavy airstrikes, and ground offensives. His boyish face and neatly combed hair bellied the raw force of his live broadcasts in besieged areas of northern Gaza under bombardment by Israeli fighter jets, or among the rain-flooded tents of displaced families and in damaged hospitals and school shelters. That reporting gained him huge admiration in Gaza and a combined social media following of at least 2 million people globally on Instagram and Twitter. Al-Jazeera questioned the timing of the attack on Al-Sharif and his colleagues, which comes just as Israel plans a sweeping invasion of Gaza City in an effort to take control and occupy it. Yep, we just took a look at that. There was a Security Council meeting recently between Benjamin Netanyahu and the Security Cabinet saying like, so we're annexing the Strip, right, guys? We're annexing the Strip. And everyone's just like, yeah, we're annexing the Strip. We're going to do resettlement projects, and we're going to have Trump Gaza, number one. Listen, folks, we're going to make Trump Gaza. We love Trump Gaza, folks. It's so beautiful. It's so great. We're going to have so many golden statues of myself. I mean, wait, what? No, we're not putting golden statues of myself in Gaza. No, why would I ever do that? So fucking goofy, dude. Yeah, totally. This is totally not idolatry. Of course not. Listen, because, like, Trump is a very, very well-known religious and pious man. Very, very well-known information. The order to assassinate Anas Al-Sharif, one of Gaza's bravest journalists and his colleagues, is a desperate attempt to silence the voices exposing the immediate impending seizure and occupation of Gaza, the Al Jazeera media network said in a statement. Israel's military confirmed the airstrike that killed Al-Sharif, saying he was operating under the false cover of a journalist. Oh, evidence? None. The military published digital graphics of documents it said shows Al-Sharif was a terrorist within the ranks of Hamas. Evidence? None. Military declined to answer NPR's questions on why Al-Sharif was killed now, 10 months after Israel first levied accusations against him. Well, because it was just complete fucking nonsense and they were hoping that people weren't paying attention. That's why. It also did not answer a request for what proof the military has beyond the list it published online. Yeah, I wonder why they're not answering for any requests to any U.S. publications for that, for their stupid schizo list, or rather not schizo list, their targeting list online. I wonder why they're not answering any of those particular questions. This is part of a pattern that we have seen from Israel in which Israel alleges that journalists are terrorists and then fails to produce any real credible evidence. CPJ's chief executive, Jody Ginsburg told NPR after Israel first made allegations against Al-Sharif and other Al Jazeera journalists last October. She says smearing local journalists is a feature of what authoritarian regimes do to cast doubts on the reporting. Well, that's a really, really good point there by Jody Ginsburg. I wonder why she may be saying this. Couldn't be anything in particular. Couldn't be because, like, Israel is a fucking authoritarian fucking shithole. So, nice meme. In his last broadcast, aired hours before he was killed, Al-Sharif showed images of Gaza's famished children suffering from Israeli restrictions on aid. Israel's government denies there's starvation in Gaza. Kind of hard to make that argument considering all of the fucking goddamn particular, like, images you can find online of people who are basically shambling skeletons. Kind of difficult to make that fucking argument, Israel. The CPJ has recorded nearly 190 lethal attacks on journalists in Gaza throughout the 22-month-long war, quote-unquote. The CPJ, Reporters Without Borders, and others report that more journalists in Gaza have been killed in Israeli attacks in a single year of war than in any conflict on record anywhere. Again, we've already said why this is the case. I'll reiterate it again. They want to make sure that no information gets out as much as possible because they know it makes them look really, really, really bad. Al-Sharif experienced the loss of his own father early in the war, quote unquote, in an airstrike on the family's home. But he came to anticipate death in a pre-written statement published after his killing. He says that through pain and suffering, he never once hesitated to convey the truth. Based Al-Sharif. I'm really bad with names. Anas Al-Sharif. There we go. I'm really bad with names. But, we got also a list here from AlJazeera itself. Here are the names of the journalists Israel killed in Gaza. They've killed nearly 270 journalists and media workers. Again, they're doing this to put people in fear, to make sure that as much information as possible does not get out of this. And these are all people who worked with Al Jazeera, who was banned formally, I think, from Israel because they're mad about the fact that they are doing truthful reporting about what's going on, specifically in the Gaza Strip. And Israel is none too happy about that. Wonder why. Hani Al-Shir said an Israeli drone hit the tent at about 11:35 p.m. In total, 7 people were killed in the attack, including Mohammed Kareka, whatever, Al Jazeera, Cameron Ibrahim Zahir, and Mohammed Nofal. And these are a bunch of people. Here's a list of people. With the main man himself, Anas Al-Sharif. The site of the Israeli strike that killed 4 Al Jazeera staff near Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza, August 11th, 2025. Damn, it's a lot of people. Israel deliberately kills Al Jazeera journalists. Makes sense because, again, they report rather truthfully on what's going on in Gaza. So here's a bunch of other ones. This was another sort of like a prominent journalist that got killed. Hassam Shabbat, who also got fucking killed by Israel. But it's not just him. We got Ismail Al-Ghul, Ahmed Al-Lo, Hamza Dado? I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. Whatever. And Samir Abu Dhaka. So that's cool. Great. Fantastic. And these are all people who have been killed at various points during the war. And even early on in the fucking war. This is right at the fucking start of the war. Israel has just been fucking killing journalists. Because again, the point of them killing the journalists should be fairly fucking simple. They want to make sure that no information about this gets out. That nobody fucking reports accurately or truthfully. Like, quite literally, Israel has banned all international press from being able to film anything that's going on in the fucking Gaza Strip. So, again, all the different people, all the different clips that are going on here. Lots and lots of people being reported as being killed by Israel. And I have no doubt as to why. Look at all these fucking people, right? Killed in an airstrike in central Gaza's Nusrat camp. Killed in a fucking refugee camp. We all know how much Israel loves to triple tap fucking refugee camps. Killed in an Israeli attack in the eastern part of Bet Lahia in northern Gaza. And that's Hassam Shabbat, who also got fucking killed. And this has so far been the deadliest war for journalists ever recorded in history. As Al Jazeera said, about 270 journalists and media workers have been fucking killed. Like, this is higher than fucking World War I and II, the amount of fucking journalists have been killed. Like, way fucking higher than Afghanistan, for fuck's sake. The Ukrainian wars, because a bunch of Russians killed a bunch of journalists there. Like, I'm pretty sure this is higher than, like, all of these combined. Easily higher than all of these combined. Because, again, Israel is just that ridiculously fucking abhorrent. They want to do everything possible to make sure that as much information does not get out about this genocide that they are doing as possible. That's the point of them going after journalists in the way that they do. They want to make sure that nobody can see that the fact that they murdering children, women, and people in fucking refugee camps that are trying to escape the Israelis' offensive fucking operations. That is the fucking point of this, from this, stupid fucking genocidal fucking regime. So, of course, yeah, Al Jazeera is correct. Targeting journalists is a war crime. But then again, Israel loves committing war crimes. That's, their fucking favorite thing to do. That's, the fourth favorite thing they like doing. What? So it's killing women and children, committing piracy, killing journalists, and committing war crimes. Man, that's a lot of favorite things that Israel likes to do, all of which are fucking terrible and bad. I don't think there's really much else to really say besides, like, whoa, should be fairly obvious why Israel is doing this. They are doing this because they want to do everything possible to make sure that as much information on the fucking genocide does not get out as possible. Because again, this is a genocidal regime with one clear intent and purpose: the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians from Palestine. Don't think there's really much else to say besides Benjamin Netanyahu and the state of Israel are a bunch of genocidal fucking freaks.